Chosen one, pause for a moment, because something subtle yet powerful has just shifted in the unseen realm. The fact that you are hearing these words right now is not random timing. It is alignment. Heaven has a way of interrupting ordinary moments when a turning point has already begun unfolding. And Anointed One, this moment carries that exact weight. For a long time, your path may have felt quiet, effort without recognition, preparation without visible reward. You kept moving forward while doors seemed distant and opportunities appeared just out of reach. But silence does not always mean delay. Sometimes, silence is where heaven prepares the stage for something greater than what you could have forced on your own. There is a pattern written into life itself. Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us that there is a time appointed for every purpose under heaven. And often, that appointed time arrives suddenly, disguised as an unexpected conversation, a new connection, or a powerful offer that appears when you least expect it. Chosen one, what is approaching you is not simply an opportunity. It is a moment that reveals how much preparation has already taken place within you. Someone with influence will recognize what others overlooked. A door will open that once seemed invisible, and the question will not be whether the door exists. The question will be whether you are ready to step through it. Chosen one, there is something you must understand about the way heaven moves. The moments that change the direction of a life rarely arrive with loud announcements. They often appear quietly, almost hidden within ordinary days, until suddenly everything shifts. One conversation, one introduction, one unexpected moment where someone looks at you differently than everyone else has, and in that moment, the path you thought you were walking begins to bend toward a completely new direction. Anointed one, what many people call luck is rarely luck at all. What appears to be a sudden breakthrough is often the visible result of years of invisible preparation that took place when no one was watching. Think about the seasons you walked through that felt slow, uncertain, even discouraging. There were days when you worked faithfully but felt overlooked. Moments when it seemed like the doors around you stayed closed while others moved forward. You may have questioned whether your persistence mattered, whether your effort was even being noticed by anyone at all. But heaven has a different perspective on those seasons. What felt like delay was actually development. What felt like silence was preparation. And the truth is that the qualities built during those hidden years become the very reason a powerful opportunity eventually finds its way into your life. Chosen one, there is a reason influential people notice certain individuals in a room full of talent. It is not always the loudest voice or the most obvious skill that captures their attention. Those who carry true influence tend to watch quietly before they speak. They observe how people respond to pressure. They notice who remains steady when recognition is absent. They see who continues building, learning, and growing even when no reward is guaranteed. These patterns reveal something deeper than ability. They reveal character. And character is the currency that opens doors most people never even see. You may not realize it yet, but someone has been watching the pattern of your life more closely than you think. Not in a suspicious way, but in a discerning way. They have noticed the consistency in how you carry yourself. They have seen how you respond when things do not go your way. They have watched how you handle responsibility even when the position itself did not appear glamorous. These details speak louder than resumes. And, at the right moment, those quiet observations lead to something powerful, an offer that feels larger than anything you expected. Now, imagine this moment with me for a second. Anointed one. You are moving through a normal day, focused on your responsibilities, just like always. Perhaps you are still proving yourself. Perhaps you are still building something slowly, while wondering when your opportunity will truly arrive. And then, a conversation begins. At first, it feels ordinary. Just another exchange of words, another introduction, another interaction that seems no different than the many you have had before. But, slowly, the tone shifts. You begin to realize the person speaking to you carries a level of influence you did not anticipate. Their questions are deeper than casual curiosity. Their interest in your journey feels intentional. Then, something unexpected happens. They begin describing a possibility, not a small task, not a temporary opportunity, something larger. Something that stretches far beyond the place you currently see yourself standing. And in that moment, your mind begins racing, because the opportunity feels both exciting and overwhelming at the same time. Excitement whispers that this could be the breakthrough you have been waiting for. But another voice begins, asking difficult questions. What if you are not ready? What if this opportunity exposes areas where you still feel uncertain? Chosen one. This internal conflict is more common than most people admit. In fact, many of the individuals who step into the greatest opportunities of their lives experience this exact moment of hesitation right before everything changes. A person can spend years building strength, learning lessons through setbacks, and developing resilience through struggle. Yet, when the moment of recognition finally arrives, doubt sometimes shows up first. That quiet voice asks whether you truly belong in the position that is now being offered to you. But here is something you must remember. When someone with real influence extends an opportunity, they are rarely looking only at what you can do today. They are looking at what you can become tomorrow. They are recognizing potential that may still feel unfamiliar even to you. The truth is that powerful opportunities are rarely designed to keep you comfortable. They are designed to grow you. And this is where many people step back, not because they lack ability, but because the unfamiliar weight of the moment makes them question themselves. Yet the individuals who step forward understand something powerful. Readiness does not always mean having every answer before you begin. Readiness often means being willing to learn, adapt, and rise through the process itself. It happens when someone decides that the opportunity in front of them is greater than the fear inside them. Chosen one. When an influential person offers you access to a greater opportunity, they are not simply handing you a position. They are placing a level of trust in you, saying in their own way that they believe you can grow into the responsibility being placed before you. Think about the challenges you faced that once felt unfair. The moments when you were underestimated or misunderstood. The seasons when progress seemed slower than you hoped. At the time, those experiences may have felt like obstacles, but now you can begin to see them differently. They were shaping your judgment, strengthening your patience, teaching you how to respond rather than react. These qualities are invisible to many people, but to someone who understands leadership, they stand out clearly. Do you see yourself as someone capable of carrying what is being placed in front of you? Or will the old version of your thinking convince you to step back from something that could transform the direction of your life? Chosen one. This is the moment where many destinies begin to unfold. Opportunity is never just about receiving something greater. It is about becoming someone greater in the process. That is why the offer feels weighty. Because the path in front of you will not simply add comfort to your life, it will add responsibility. It will stretch your thinking. It will introduce environments that require new levels of awareness, discipline, and wisdom. But heaven understands this process deeply, and that is why preparation often happens long before the door appears. Those seasons were training your mind to carry greater things. When progress felt slow, patience was being developed within you. When distractions surrounded you, focus was being sharpened. When results were uncertain, perseverance was strengthening your spirit. The same resilience that carried you through those difficult seasons is the exact strength that will guide you through the new responsibilities that are approaching. You were not enduring those challenges for no reason. They were preparing you to stand in rooms you once thought were beyond your reach. Even when the reward was unclear, you continued moving forward. Even when the outcome was uncertain, you continued refining your craft. Even when no one applauded your progress, you kept building quietly. Those choices created something powerful: credibility. And credibility is something that people with real influence respect deeply. They do not simply search for talent. Talent can be found almost anywhere. What they truly seek is steadiness. Someone who does not collapse under pressure. Someone who understands that growth is a process, not an instant result. Chosen one. Those qualities have been forming inside you for longer than you realize. And now, the moment has arrived where those qualities are being noticed. The transformation happens through the decisions you make after the offer is placed in front of you. Some people will look at the size of the opportunity and immediately begin focusing on what could go wrong. But others will ask a more powerful question. What kind of person could I become if I step into this moment with courage? That question changes everything, because stepping forward does not require perfect certainty. It requires willingness. Willingness to grow, willingness to learn, willingness to rise beyond the version of yourself that once believed certain doors were not meant for you. God makes everything beautiful in its time. Timing matters. Preparation matters. And when the appointed moment arrives, the opportunity often appears in ways that seem sudden to everyone else. But heaven knows the truth. The moment was not sudden at all. It was prepared long ago through every lesson you learned, every setback that refined you, and every quiet decision you made to keep moving forward when quitting would have been easier. And now, anointed one, you stand at the edge of a new chapter. Chosen one. When heaven allows a door like this to appear in your life, it is never only about elevation, it is about alignment. Many people see opportunity as a ladder to climb, but heaven often sees opportunity as a responsibility to carry a stewardship, an assignment that requires wisdom as much as ambition. Anointed one. This is why your journey could not unfold the way you once imagined. If the doors had opened earlier before your character was strengthened, the pressure would have been overwhelming. If the recognition had come before the lessons were learned, the responsibility might have crushed you instead of elevating you. But heaven prepares vessels before it pours new oil into them. You may remember seasons when life felt like a wilderness. Times when you were working, building, learning, yet nothing seemed to move forward as quickly as you hoped. It felt like walking through a desert where progress was measured in small steps rather than sudden leaps. Yet the wilderness has always been one of heaven's favorite classrooms. Moses was shaped there. David was refined there. Even Jesus was led into the wilderness before stepping into the fullness of his assignment. The wilderness strips away distractions. It reveals what truly lives inside a person. It forces you to develop faith when there is no immediate reward. And in those quiet places, something powerful happens. Clarity begins to form. Chosen one. There is a reason those wilderness seasons left a mark that meditation, positive thinking, and sheer willpower could never fully erase. Scientists began studying the brains of people who had walked through exactly these kinds of seasons: long preparation, invisible growth, followed by sudden elevation. And what they found at MIT and Princeton changed the way neuroscientists understand human potential. They discovered that the people who finally broke through who stepped into their moment with clarity, courage, and a mind that suddenly felt sharp and alive, were not simply mentally stronger. Their brains were operating on a different frequency. Scientists called it gamma. And I will tell you what they found about it shortly. Chosen one. Many of the habits that now define your mindset were born during those seasons of solitude and pressure. You learned how to keep going without applause. You learned how to remain disciplined even when motivation faded. You learned how to carry responsibility even when no one was watching. Because when someone with authority or resources extends an opportunity, they are not simply inviting you to participate in something. They are inviting you into a sphere of influence, and influence changes everything. Scripture reminds us of this truth. In Habakkuk 2-3, the vision waits for the appointed time. Though it may seem slow in coming, it will surely arrive and will not delay. The delay was not preventing the vision. The delay was preparing the vessel that would carry the vision. And that vessel is you. Think about how a seed grows beneath the soil. For a long time, nothing appears to be happening on the surface. But beneath the soil, roots are forming. Strength is developing in places that cannot yet be seen. And when the time is right, the seed breaks through the surface with a force that seems sudden to everyone watching. Yet the growth was happening all along. Your life has been unfolding in the same way. Beneath the surface, your judgment was developing. Your discipline was strengthening. Your resilience was forming roots deep enough to sustain greater influence. Now, the surface is beginning to break. And what emerges from the soil is stronger than anyone expected. Scripture reflects this kind of transition in Isaiah 60:1. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. Rising is an action. It requires movement. It requires a willingness to stand when the moment arrives. Chosen one rising does not mean you suddenly feel fearless. It means you recognize that the opportunity in front of you is greater than the doubts trying to hold you back. Confidence often grows after the first step, not before it. The first step simply requires trust. Trust in the preparation that has already taken place within you. Trust that the opportunity appearing now is not random but purposeful, chosen one. At its deepest level, this moment is about identity. Because every time heaven opens a door that shifts the direction of a life, it reveals something about the person who is stepping through it. It reveals who they truly are, becoming. Divine moments have a way of interrupting the narrative you have been telling yourself about your own potential. They challenge the version of yourself that once believed certain rooms were not meant for you. They ask you to see your life not through the lens of where you started, but through the lens of where heaven is guiding you. The greatest shift that occurs during seasons of elevation is not external, it is internal. The discipline you practiced during quiet seasons was shaping your authority. The patience you developed during long periods of waiting was preparing your judgment. The resilience you built through adversity was strengthening your leadership. What once felt like survival was actually preparation. Scripture reflects this truth in Jeremiah 1-5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. The assignment existed before the individual fully understood it. And that same principle is unfolding within your life now. Every lesson, every delay, every moment that forced you to grow was adding another layer to the person you are becoming. Chosen one. The identity required for the next season of your life will not be built on insecurity. It will be built on clarity, a deep understanding that the same strength which carried you through earlier seasons still lives within you now. The opportunity approaching your life is not appearing because someone made a random decision. It is appearing because the person you have become is capable of carrying it. The offer coming toward you may expand your environment. It may introduce you to networks and conversations you once only observed from a distance. But the greatest transformation will not be what happens around you. It will be what happens within you. Because when identity aligns with purpose, something powerful occurs. You begin to walk differently. You begin to speak with greater clarity. You begin to make decisions from a place of vision rather than hesitation. And people notice not because you are trying to impress them, but because confidence rooted in purpose carries a presence that cannot easily be ignored. Chosen one. The offer you receive is not the final destination. It is the doorway into a journey that will continue shaping you long after the initial excitement fades. Commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will be established. Commitment is not a single decision made once. It is a posture of the heart carried through many seasons. The opportunity approaching you is not random. It is the result of preparation, meeting, timing. It is the recognition of character formed through seasons of quiet discipline. It is the opening of a door that once seemed distant, but now stands directly in front of you. And as that door opens, heaven is asking only one simple question. Will you rise to meet the moment that has been prepared for you? And now, anointed one, I want to return to something I mentioned earlier. The wilderness seasons, the hidden years, the long stretches where nothing seemed to move, yet something was forming deep beneath the surface. Science has a name for what was happening in those seasons. And when I tell you what it is, you will understand not only why the preparation felt invisible, but why the breakthrough, when it finally arrives, carries a force that surprises everyone around you. Chosen one, the neuroscientists at MIT and Princeton were not studying spiritual people. They were studying high performers, individuals who seemed to operate at a different level than everyone around them. People who made better decisions under pressure, who saw connections others could not see, who experienced what the research team called eureka moments on a consistent basis. What they discovered inside the brains of these individuals was a specific brainwave, one that most adults have almost completely lost access to. They called it gamma. And here is what made the findings extraordinary. Gamma is not something that elite performers developed through effort. Every single one of us was born with it running at full capacity. If you have ever watched a child learn the way they absorb language, read faces, ask questions faster than you can answer them, that is gamma. That is the brain operating at its God-given frequency. The frequency where intuition is sharp, where decisions arrive with clarity, where the right idea, the right word, the right connection appears almost as if it was placed there. Scientists called it the God-given brainwave. Not metaphorically, but because there is no other explanation for what it produces in a fully activated brain. But here is what the research also revealed, and this is the part the institutions do not widely discuss. Beginning around age 7, the modern environment begins shutting gamma down. The structure of formal education, the pressure to suppress instinct and follow instruction, the repetitive noise of screens, information overload, and constant stimulation. Together, these forces push the brain away from gamma and into lower, slower frequencies, waves associated with routine, survival, and mental fog. Scientists call this the decline effect, chosen one. This is why the gap between who you once were and who you feel like now is not a character flaw. It is not a spiritual failure. It is neuroscience. Your gamma did not disappear because something was wrong with you. It went dormant because the world around you was not designed to preserve it. And if you are someone who has always felt, even in your quietest moments, that there is more inside you than you have been able to access, that once, perhaps in childhood, things came to you more easily, that your mind felt faster, your instincts sharper, your sense of connection to something larger, more vivid. That was your gamma, and it has never fully left. Dr. Robert Lake, a neuroscientist with 34 years of research, and a man who spent decades studying the brain waves of the world's highest performers, spent years asking one question: not how to explain gamma, but how to reactivate it, quickly, reliably, without requiring years of meditation practice or $7,000 worth of biofeedback equipment. What he developed is called the Genius Song. It is a 7-minute audio track, engineered using a process called brain entrainment, a technology that uses precise sound frequencies to guide the brain directly into gamma state. You put on a pair of headphones, you close your eyes, you listen for 7 minutes. And what begins to shift in your mind during those 7 minutes is something that most people describe, not in clinical terms, but in one word: relief. The mental fog that had become so familiar, it felt normal, it begins to lift. The sense of heaviness, the second-guessing, the feeling of being somehow slower than you used to be, it begins to ease. And in its place, something returns: clarity, sharpness, a quiet but unmistakable feeling that the version of yourself you have been reaching for is not as far away as you thought. I want to share something with you about a woman named Sarah, a teacher in Texas, 43 years old, who had spent nearly a decade helping other people grow while quietly feeling like her own mind had gone still. She described it this way. She said her brain felt like a machine running at 30% capacity. She could function, she could show up, but the kind of thinking she remembered from earlier in her life, the ideas that used to arrive effortlessly, the connections that once felt almost magical, those had become rare. 3 weeks after she began the 7-minute ritual with the Genius Song, she wrote something that stayed with me. She said, "I cannot explain what is happening, but the ideas keep coming, not forced, just arriving, like they were always there, and something finally opened the door. That is gamma returning. That is the God-given frequency that the decline effect had buried, being reactivated through 7 minutes of precise, science-backed sound. Now, chosen one, I want to speak to you directly about something. You may have tried meditation, you may have tried sound healing, you may have tried every practice that promised to unlock something deeper in you, and you may still feel that the breakthrough has not fully arrived. That something is still just out of reach. I am not going to tell you that those paths were wrong, but I will tell you why they may not have produced what you were looking for. Meditation works, but it requires months, sometimes years of consistent practice before the brain begins to genuinely synchronize at gamma frequency. Most people cannot sustain it long enough to reach what the science promises. Brain entrainment does not require that kind of sustained effort. It works directly by delivering the precise frequencies your brain needs to shift into gamma in 7 minutes. This is not the same category. This is a different mechanism entirely. And the reason it matters now, at this exact moment in your journey, is this. The opportunity that is approaching your life will not simply require a different environment. It will require a different mind. It will require the version of you that operates with clarity when others are overwhelmed, that hears the right answer when the room is full of noise. That makes the decision that others will later call wise not because of luck, but because gamma was running at full capacity when the moment arrived. Now, I want to be straightforward with you about how to access the Genius Song, because there is something important you need to know. There are currently websites and audio files circulating online under the Genius Song name that are not the original product. They look similar, they use the same language, but they do not contain the actual brain entrainment technology developed by Dr. Robert Lake, the precise frequency calibration that is embedded in the original audio track. Without that calibration, you are listening to ordinary sound. You will not experience what the research demonstrates. The only place where the original Genius song, with the full brain entrainment technology, the 4 bonus resources, and the complete money-back guarantee exists, is through the link I have placed in the description and pinned comment of this video. Do not search for it on Amazon, Spotify, or anywhere else. What you find there is not what I am describing. Now, to the investment. Biofeedback therapy, the clinical method for guiding the brain into gamma, costs between $200 and $300 per session. Professional-grade biofeedback equipment for home use runs approximately $7,000. Even a quality ongoing meditation program with consistent instruction and retreat access represents hundreds of dollars and months of effort before results begin to appear. Dr. Robert Lake compressed the core of that technology into a 7-minute digital audio track. The standard price for the Genius song is $49. But for the people watching this video, people who, by arriving here, have already demonstrated something about who they are and what they are reaching for. Dr. Lake has made the track available at $39, not on any platform, not through any other source. Exclusively through this video, at $39, you receive the 7-minute Genius song audio track itself. You also receive Genius Child, a companion audio specifically engineered to support focus and confidence in children. You receive the original classic book that inspired the film, The Secret, the full text, valued at $20, included at no additional cost. You receive a guided visualization audio walking you through the 4 domains of life, financial, relational, physical, and emotional, that most people want to transform. And you receive a printable infographic outlining the 5 highest leverage daily habits for creating the future you are building toward. All of it for $39. With a 100% money-back guarantee, no time limit, no conditions, no explanations required. If you listen and feel nothing has shifted, you receive every dollar back. The only risk in this moment is not the $39. The risk is continuing to feel the gap between who you are and who you sense you are capable of becoming and not doing anything about it. Every day that gamma remains dormant is not a neutral day. It is another day operating below the frequency that heaven designed you to carry. Chosen one. The person you are on your way to becoming has already made this decision, not because they were certain of every outcome, but because they understood that the appointed moments in a life do not arrive with perfect clarity. They arrive with enough light for one step. This is that step. The link is in the description and pinned comment. That is the only place to access the original Genius song at this price, with the full technology intact. If this message has spoken to something real inside you, then you already know what this moment is asking. Rise to meet it, chosen one. Remember this as you step forward into the days ahead. The reason someone with influence recognized you was never just about talent. Talent can be found everywhere. What truly stands out is the quiet strength you have carried through changing seasons, the discipline to keep improving when no one was applauding, the steadiness to remain faithful when results were uncertain, the integrity to keep building without constant validation. These qualities created something powerful within you, credibility, and credibility is something those who carry real influence recognize immediately. But, Anointed One, as this new chapter begins, stay aware. Opportunities bring visibility. And visibility sometimes invites voices that were never present during your preparation. Some may question your decisions, others may doubt your readiness. Yet none of those voices determine your path. What matters is the discipline and values that carried you through the earlier seasons. Protect that quiet confidence, not arrogance, but the steady belief that what was built within you cannot be shaken by outside noise. Because the opportunity that once seemed overwhelming was never meant to break you. It was meant to reveal the strength already forming inside you. This is your Kairos moment, a time heaven prepared long before you recognized it. If this message has resonated with your spirit, write 777 inches, the comments, as a declaration of faith. And if you feel led, subscribe so you do not miss future messages meant for your journey. May peace guide your steps. Chosen one, the shift has already begun.